Great to be here, and what a full day already for all of us. And as I was thinking about coming out here on this section around creativity, I thought to myself, is there something wrong with this picture that a banker, person involved in finance, is in the creative section? But actually, I think it's correct, because certainly that's how my life, I believe, has been. I really want to talk to you in these few minutes this afternoon around two words, and those two words are trust and confidence. So many of you who also spoke today also, I believe, had that in your theme. And in my view, trust and confidence will be throughout what I'm going to share with you this afternoon. Today's financial system, as we all know, that's why we're having sessions like today, is really broken. And one could characterize it really as a system that has become far too complex, too opaque, way too anonymous, and is only based on short-term outcomes. And that kind of system has really gone on for quite a while. And I think we are here today to really reimagine how that system could be. And my story really began right out of college. My first job that I had out of college was quite an eye-opener for an idealistic person like myself. I ended up needing some health care, and we had, as employees, been paying in our health insurance, our payments from our paycheck. And I went to the hospital after about a year and a half and discovered that my insurance had been canceled. And it turns out that the company had been taking our health care payments in order to keep themselves afloat. For me, as a young idealist, that was a real shock. And it basically set me on a road which has taken me here to today, because it's really trust and confidence that exists between an employer and employee, and in all financial transactions. It's also what led me to join an amazing group of mentors for me at that time, one of which is an amazing father, and a few other incredible senior bankers, to begin something called RSF Social Finance. It's a financial service organization inspired by the work of Rudolf Steiner. And we began through practice. We began seeing how we could actually do something different to really build trust and confidence in a financial system that was broken. It was hard because we weren't a typical model. We weren't a bank in the usual sense. And yet we acted like that. You know, we took in people's money, people lent us money, and we lent out money. And what was required with that? How was it possible for people to trust us? For us then to trust those who we were lending the money to. And we realized that in this context that actually there are many, many small details that lead up to someone having trust in somebody else. It's a real remarkable dance. And for those of you who are involved in either investing money or in lending money to others, or involved in borrowing money or wanting to borrow money, because there are a lot of obvious entrepreneurial types here in the room today, what is required in order to build up that sense of trust? And it's really in the details. It's in the small details that we discovered. It's how you respond, how you commit to something, and how you follow through. We had one person right in the beginning who opened an account at RSF. They put in $1,000, and the next month asked for it back. Why did they do that? Because they couldn't believe that actually they would be able to get it back. Because we were an NGO. We weren't even a for-profit. So they had never lent money before. They had never invested money with an organization such as RSF. How would they know that they would actually ever see it back? Well, I'm happy to say now, 28 years later, no one has lost money at RSF, and RSF's default rate has been under 2% in 28 years, with over 250 million, I believe now, in loans in all that time. Well, you're really clapping for all the borrowers. You're clapping for all of those who have borrowed money from RSF over the years and have really shown that they have become not only trustworthy, but have given us continued confidence in their work. So this aspect of our work, as we built it up, has many stories associated with it. I think the one that's most interesting maybe for you today is to hear the story where you actually realize that when you're involved in finance, you have to put yourself into a place of vulnerability. Because you actually have, as some speakers already spoke today about, you actually have to become a complete listener to what is trying to present itself to you. And by doing that, you actually receive something and also create something new that is brand new, a new kind of structure, a new kind of form, a new way of guaranteeing a loan, a new way of pledging it, a new way of securing that loan. And so we've come up with those kinds of things over the years. But I still remember one of our investors, early on, she called us, and it was from an organization. It was from a one-room school in Viroqua, Wisconsin. And she said, we have $1,000 left over at the end of the year, and we have decided that instead of replacing our playgrounds equipment or painting our rooms, our classrooms, we actually want that $1,000 to work in another community. We want it to work through RSF to do something different. That was a very powerful moment for me, because at that moment I realized that what RSF was really about was about building community. And RSF likes to say now these days, it's really about the counterposition to what I started with this complexity, right, and this opaqueness that we have in our current system, and much more work on the focus of directness, direct loans that are transparent, that everybody knows what's at stake, that are long-term, and that they're based on personal relationships. And this is a deeply personal experience. I have to say, it's kept me inspired, it's kept those who are working at RSF inspired, because in many ways, all of you who are here today are really looking for those direct, transparent, and personal relationships. And that's really what finance wants to do. Because at the end of the day, nothing moves. Money actually does not move unless there's trust and confidence. Now, I'm also part of the founding of New Resource Bank, and I'm chair of the board of New Resource Bank. And it's a wonderful organization that has built up here in the Bay Area, and I'm very proud to say that also during these crazy economic times, it is doing well and is growing. And they have wonderful products like impact CDs, and as our CEO likes to say, where does your money spend the night? As a way to wake people up where their money is actually working. But at the end of the day, money does not move unless there's trust. And if I were to take a wheelbarrow worth of money, if I were to pile a wheelbarrow here in this room, and maybe I should have, and done a demonstration like some others have done today, and run around this auditorium as fast as I could, from a financial standpoint, will anything have changed? No. So actually, money is not subject, the movement of money is actually not subject to physical force. And we tend to think of money as such a material thing, but it actually is not material. At least what we talk about as far as money is concerned. So what is it ultimately that makes it move? It is because of the confidence and the trust that can exist between two parties, between governments, between banks, between systems. We saw in 2008 how banks weren't lending to each other. Confidence and trust had completely collapsed. So how are we going to build that in our local communities? And RSF has tried to do that in very practical ways, for example, with something called its pricing meetings, where it brings together its investors and its borrowers in different regions around the country and asks them, what do you think the right price should be? What do you think is fair for you as an investor to receive? And what do you think is fair for you and as a borrower to be charged? And have them talk among themselves. That is a very, very powerful. I invite all of you to participate in that because it is a very, very special experience. It's actually transformative. For me, it's been transformative. Because there in those moments, you hear the stories of the investors. what they're doing with their savings and why they have their money there. And the borrowers can hear that. And the borrowers then can feel, oh, yes, I understand where I'm getting my money from. And in those moments, that's where I believe community forms. And in many ways, for us to reimagine capitalism, it has to be based on the confidence of the human spirit. It has to be based in a grassroots way. And in many ways, as Van Jones started our day with today, it really is from inside out. It really is transformative in how that works. So I am here to say that finance is interesting, it is creative, and we can have confidence in the human spirit. Thank you.